Hey there, guys. It's your host from the Brett's Review Show. Let's fire up this review. Today's review is Gamers Episode 2. Does Tendo have a crush on Amano? We'll find out. Skip that. Amano himself does not know, because of the fact that he declined Tendo's invitation to join her club, and that her infatuation with him, that he has no idea that she has actually fallen head over heels for him. He has no idea. In the arcade, he meets Urahara, and he can see that Amano is flustered, especially when they make eye contact or whatnot. And they're trying to figure out what happened to Amano, what happened between Amano and Tendo. But one of the girls actually thought that Amano was being stuck up. And Urahara's like, you know what, just leave the guy be. Just leave him alone. He's telling his friends to leave him be. And that there's no way he'll be able to... And there's no way, in a way, that he'll be able to hold a conversation with the guy. And, like... But he was thinking to himself, why? What was the guy thinking? And... it, But the more, like, it keeps showing Urahara, like, Urahara's taking offense to this, like, he's looking at Amano and he's frustrated with him. Because Urahara sees Amano, and Amano reminds him of what he was before. So you kind of find out a little bit about Urahara's backstory, and then you see his girlfriend Agari, she and whatnot, but she had made lunch for him, and it was a little bit messed up while he's sitting there trying to think of what's going on. And while they're, like, you see a flashback of his past, like I said, and after that, he happens to, like, Amano was staring at the glass on the other side, looking at him. So Amano introduces himself, and the game that Urahara was playing was like a masterpiece, a very popular game. Some anime fans know this, and some have seen the anime, but or whatnot. It's like I can't remember the name of itself, but there was a game that they ended up playing called Persona. It looked like Persona 4 that they were playing together, him and Amano. But the game that he won in this little claw game was a game that Amano had played before, and he highly recommended it to Urahara to play. And he stops Amano from leaving, because the reason Amano goes to the arcade is because he wants somebody to play with, in a way. That's pretty much what it was. He just wants someone to play with and being able to talk. Amano is terrible at fighting games. Absolutely bad. And Urahara just asks him about his relationship with Tendo, but before he could really give an answer, Agri comes back and with his friends, and she wants him to go home with them, or to get her gift for, win a game for, or whatnot, to get her a cat. But then she sees Tendo tiptoeing around, because Tendo actually followed Amano to the arcade, and that Amano ends up telling him about the game club invitation that he had had no idea that it existed. But what Urahara was wanting to know is, why did he reject Tendo's invitation? And how the games in the game club differ from what he wants to play, or what he likes to play. And all Amano says is, hey, it's hard to explain. Urahara says this: you wanted friends you could talk about games with, right? Like hitting the nail on the head, huh? It seems that Urahara knows how Amano feels, or in the position that he is in, as if he was in the same position, which brings me back to his flashback of what he was before. He was exactly like Amano, but different. That he went through the same process, but then it took him everything that he had to become who he was today. So he wasn't like that before. So he changed. He went from a guy who was to himself, a loner, didn't have any friends, didn't really talk to anybody, but then a fire built up in him, and he's like, you know what, I don't want to be like this forever, I want to change. So he did something about it. And they play the Persona 4 game, or the looks like of a Persona 4 game, and he's having fun. He's having fun hanging out with Amano playing video games. Urahara is. And Amano's having fun because why? He gets to play games with somebody who's obviously better than he is, and he doesn't care. But yet he's playing a game, so that's why he doesn't care. And while they're going to decide to play another game, Urahara just looks around, and he ends up spotting Tendo sneaking, or in all actuality, stalking Amano. Is like literally looking behind the corner of a game aisle. You got these old game systems, like arcade game systems here, and Tendo's like creeping, just staring at Amano, just staring. Ah! But Tendo runs off. And after she got caught by Urahara, and he calls out to Amano, like Amano might have seen her, like caught a glimpse of her, and he's like, I'm going over here. Like maybe he was trying to run away, like he did see her, but Agri shows up again and takes him away, and Amano says thanks for playing with me or whatnot, and starts to leave. Immediately, as soon as Agri and his friends and Urahara's friends show up, that's when he did that. And Tendo actually comes up to him just as he tries to leave, and she tries to say something to him, but he just completely ignores her and walks off. And it's just as Agari starts to scold, I believe, Urahara. And let's see what else. His friends start giving him crap, but that's normal. But then at some point, something comes to Urahara's mind, and he just tells his girlfriend and his friends, just, I'll be right back, and runs off. He finds Amano, runs up to him, stops him, and scolds him, like really jumps down his throat. And they start arguing. And he literally calls out on the fact that Amano is running away. He's not standing up for himself. He's not doing anything. He's just running away from it. And he wants Amano to make it, like, he wants him to explain himself. And he tells Urahara that he has um, that he has a life. After all, why would he want Amano around? It's kind of like that saying, like you walk up to someone and, because I myself know the feeling, um, of wanting to be around people, wanting to talk to people, but yet being alone or being an outcast and not having that social experience, always left out. I know that feeling. I know that feeling. And all of a sudden someone who all is obviously is much better, like popular wise, is better than you, has friends, has a cute girlfriend, and yet also you catch the eye, you yourself catch the eye of a very one of the most popular people in the school or wherever you're at, whether you're a guy or a girl, you catch the eye of a popular dude or a girl or whatnot, same thing. You catch the eye and then everybody's like staring at you like an evil look. Like, you don't want that kind of attention. You don't want them, like the ones like Karen Tendo, to be shunned in any way. Like, all of a sudden she's up here and then, yeah, everything just bombs. And he's like, Urahara's like, you know what? Screw the hell that. That's stupid. What the hell are you thinking? And he's like, it's like that saying, like, just who the hell do you think you are? My opinion is like my opinion at this point. Urahara having flashbacks, getting easily frustrated with Amano, but can enjoy playing games with him. I believe that Urahara sees a little of himself, like I said, in Amano, because you get to see Urahara's past as he's laying into Amano. He's saying he's busted his ass to stop being a nerd. He's still a nerd. You have to admit, he's still a nerd, but he doesn't act like a nerd. He's still a nerd, but he doesn't act like it. And he might have been bullied at one point, maybe, like, and treated like an outcast, but yet, like I said, he probably just kept to himself and really didn't care what anyone else had to say. And he called Amano's excuse a lame-ass excuse and just wanted to have play games with himself alone. And he tells Amano that he has no right to patronize him or label him in any way. Myself, all I can say at this point is that it's about time someone laid into him and straightened him out. Straightened Amano out. Made Amano see the big picture here. Like I said, even though I can understand how Amano feels. This is why I enjoyed this anime so damn much. Because I understand how this main character feels. And like he calls like Amano's being stupid, Urahara calls him that. But then he tells Amano that he thinks Tendo's game club is stupid. So he calls Tendo, he makes fun of Tendo at this point. He makes fun of the game club members at this point. And he shoves him and dares him to basically say something. So he does something to get Amano upset. He wants Amano to show his true feelings. Just show how he truly feels about the game club and Tendo herself. And that triggers him. That triggers Amano. So he grabs Urahara and demands to take back what he said. And obviously it was just a setup to get Amano to stand up. And he's like, take everything back that you said about Tendo. And he's basically, they're on a bridge above a highway. So Amano's got Urahara like this against the railing on the bridge, and he's pressing him up against it. Urahara's like, oh, this guy's gonna kill me. He's freaking out, and Amano is like really just laying into him, defending Tendo, defending the game club, even somewhat defending himself. And he tells Urahara that he has no right to insult anyone, let alone Tendo, even if it's something like gaming. And at this point, everything starts to calm down a little bit. Urahara is like, okay, I'll take that back. That was kind of stupid of what I did, and I kind of feel bad about it, but jokingly says that someone who declined a direct invitation from Tendo would would defend her game club so passionately. After making amends, like they said, like everything calmed down a little bit, they kind of had an understanding of one another, and that's basically kind of how their friendship started. And what happens afterwards, that Urahara happens to walk by, and in this small little space in between these buildings, a small little alleyway, he catches Tendo in like this amazement and like this lovingly trance while she's watching Amano walk away. And it takes a couple times, but he gets her attention, and she ends up hitting her head on a pop machine and tries to leave, but Urahara tries to leave, but she freaks out and immediately stops him and asking what he meant by got and wished her well. And let's see. And he just responds, pretty much proving his point. I think you and Amano look cute together. And it causes her to seriously blush and gasp, which she ends up letting go of Urahara, and he leaves. And as he's leaving, he decides, you know what? I'm going to try and set these two up. I'm going to pick on these two. Just for, in a good way, but for some entertainment. But once he gets to the arcade, he's like, I forgot. And Agari, his girlfriend, is there, standing at the doorway of the arcade, very upset with him. And then Urahara at the arcade starts thinking to himself about his relationship with his girlfriend Agari, and as he's trying to win her another cat plushie, because he asked her about her confession and whatnot just before they started dating and whatnot, and she goes, well, she thought he was awesome. And she had liked him all the way back in middle school, and he had won during his dark days, like he says. During his dark days, he is at this claw machine with a bunch of cat plushies, and he won one. And when he turned around, he sees this girl with pigtails being so, like, oh, that's so cool. And so he just hands it to her, and then leaves. Doesn't really think of anything of it, but then she actually fell in love with him right there. And he's simply puzzled and amazed by this. And when she found out that they're going to be at the same school and that he liked really cute, pretty girls, she changed her look. So she doesn't wear pigtails now. She dyed her hair pink. And she's just overall really flippin' cute. But then it causes him to freak out. And as he's running away, he says, why am I having feelings for her now. Like, why all of a sudden these feelings are showing up for her now. And he totally refused to walk her home. He's like, literally, you can walk yourself, you live close enough. So gone. The next morning, Urahara meets with Amano and says that the game that he recommended that he had won in the machine that had let's see, where is it? I'm trying to find it. Trying to find what I flippin' said here. Oh, it said that it was really fun that he said if there's any other new games, either other games that that are good that he should try, like Amano should recommend them or whatnot. I know it's just me going over pretty much certain things. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in every single episode, so I tried not to miss them. But overall, I still think this is a very good episode. We learn about Urahara and Agari and Amano's feelings, along with Tendo falling madly in love with him. And for a rating, I give this episode an 8 out of 10. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I am your host. So let's cool down and look forward for the next review. If you have your own opinions about this particular anime, let me know in the comments down below whether you agree or you have your own opinions. Either way, peace.